There's sort of this uneasiness among Democrats, and that's coming out of what you said about Washington.
They should be. I think the Democrats have failed as much as the Republicans have failed in order to be erstwhile servants and public servants. What Senator Ben Nelson did and others closing that health care bill was a disgrace. To think that you would hold out to close a deal for a special interest, I think is absolutely wrong. I do. Who was out there carving that health care bill in the Senate side? Right? Arlen Specter went around in June, July, August, September saying everything's on the table, including single payer. Dust is on the table. Where are you shaping that bill? If you had Titans still down there in the Senate shaping that bill, where at times people like Sam Nunn were respected for what they stood for, and people may not have always agreed with him, but he shaped it. I think you'd change it. More than anything, that's what I'm running on. But what am I bringing to that? I am bringing a pretty darn hard work ethic. We've handled, because we keep our district office, have since I began to be a congressman, open 7 days a week. We've handled more than 3 times the constituency cases of the average congressional office. We passed more bills last year than either senator of Pennsylvania. We called the most successful legislator first 2 years. My district's 55% Republican, 33% Democrat. I didn't spend a dime. I spent $3.2 million my first race. My second race, I didn't spend a dime on TV, ads, media, anything except for yard signs, and we won. Because I thought they had a bit of trust in us. They didn't always disagree. And that is what's most important. It's not about party control only. It is about who are in those suits that are voting.
Well, when it comes to trust, there was a big push during the campaign to make this whole process with healthcare and everything transparent and broadcast on C-SPAN. That's been played over and over again when the president had said that on the campaign trail. Are you supportive? Do you want them to be more transparent?
I do about 7 to 8 radio interviews now every day. And one of the ones this morning in Snyder County asked me that same question, and I'll answer it the same way. They said it would be transparent. Why isn't it? At times I find the caucus is a real disappointment. We aren't transparent, not just to the public, but at times to the members. Now, you're always going to know where I stand. Look, I'm the one who submitted a bill after being asked by Rahm Emanuel to hold off my first year, and I did for 2 months, for an outside ethics committee that has subpoena power to actually make sure that no one is above being looked at. Because in the Navy, there's an inspector general. Anybody can report to it. Anybody should be able to say, retired judges would have it, and it's my bill. I haven't gotten a co-sponsor out of it, but at least people know that I believe we should be open, candid, and all. Here's the problem. Just take how they vote. Let me give you 2 examples. I'll give you lots. Our inspector voted for non-transparency in derivatives, that you would not have to report how many are being traded on Wall Street, nor for forbidding that you wouldn't have to keep reserves. Nobody knew what was happening, who owned them, how many times trading. When the recession began, our budget that year in the federal government was $3.6 trillion. The amount of derivatives was $67 trillion. And he permitted them to gamble with our savings. I do not understand that. And then people say, Arlen, thank you for your economic stimulus bill. Well, first of all, we never should have had to have an economic stimulus plan if you hadn't voted for the failed economic and tax policies of the previous administration. But second, what people don't seem to have gone on his website, I think it's been taken down since I've been talking about it, but it was there 2 weeks ago, that he said the Wright Amendment was John McCain's, where there would have been only $421 billion of tax cuts, 80% for corporations. But then he said we were successful at cutting $100 billion out of it, of which $1.5 billion was going to Harrisburg to close half of its deficit. And because of that, we have now today 900,000 more Americans unemployed according to modeling that can be. Look, it's about this economic stimulus bill. No, the damage due to, I believe, how these deals are made down there, to the lack of transparency, is why when I was asked by Senator Menendez to get into this in February, and I said, "Had you heard I was interested?" He said, "No, we knew that you'd put a press release out that said you weren't in December." I said, "I'm not." He said, "I'll think about it if you want me to," and he said, "Please." In April, they asked me again because I wasn't sure. And then they called me to April, and I agreed to get in the race. 3-4 weeks later, Arlen converts, and they call and say, "Sit down." What? What kind of deal is this that's not transparent? That is what I think most hurts us. And if there's anything that has to change, it has to be that.